to the ITSM Practice Podcast.
Welcome to the third series of the ITSM Practice Podcast. I'm Luigi Ferri. Let me start with a statement that will make some of you uncomfortable. Compliance is what organizations do when they don't want to think. They want certainty without judgment, safety without responsibility, assurance without leadership. And over time, they collect frameworks the way nervous institutions collect insurance policies, not from clarity about risk, but from discomfort with uncertainty. So, how did security governance become an exercise in accumulation instead of reasoning? Before we go any further, let me be very clear about what we are talking about. The Secure Controls Framework, or SCF, is a framework of frameworks. It does not replace ISO, NIST, CMMC, FedRAMP, or any other standard. It normalizes them. It takes more than 1,000 security and privacy controls and aligns them across laws, regulations, and standards using a single control language. In practical terms, one control, many obligations, one place where inconsistency becomes visible. SCF is not elegant, it is not simple, and it is not inspirational. It exists because regulated environments are fragmented, overlapping, and unforgiving. And that is precisely why SCF is so revealing. So what happens when all your frameworks are forced to speak the same language? Most conversations about security frameworks will start with the wrong question. Which framework should we adopt? ISO, NIST, CMMC, FedRAMP, SOC 2, something else? This question assumes that the framework choice is a technical decision. Sorry, it is not. It is a governance decision pretending to be technical. Framework sprawl does not happen because regulations are complex. It happens because leadership avoids making explicit trade-offs, and frameworks quietly accept that role. So, what happens when frameworks multiply faster than understanding? Here is the reality few executives like to face. Complexity is the tax of digital ambition. If you operate digital platforms, cloud services, regulated environments, and extended supply chains, complexity is not an accident. It is the price of scale. The problem is not complexity. The problem is pretending it can be neutralized with checklists. Frameworks promise order. But order without interpretation is just bureaucracy with better branding. So, what do organizations really want from frameworks? Most organizations don't use frameworks to reason. They use them to defend accountability, outsource judgment, justify decisions already made. This is why compliance language is so attractive. It removes verbs from leadership. No one decides. Controls require. Standards mandate. Auditors expect. Slowly, governance becomes something that happens to the organization, not by it. So, where does SCF truly enter this picture? Let me be precise. The Secure Controls Framework is not inspirational, it is not elegant, it is not simple. It is a necessary evil in regulated markets. A framework designed not to reduce obligations, but to expose how fragmented and redundant they really are. SCF does something most frameworks avoid. It forces your governance assumptions into the open. When one control covers 10 different regulations, a harder question appears. If the control is the same, why were we thinking differently before? So, what does SCF actually expose? SCF does not reduce complexity, it reveals it. It shows you how often the same risk is managed inconsistently, how many controls exist only because frameworks disagree, how little of your security posture is actually intentional. This is why SCF separates operators from leaders. Operators ask, how do we map this? Leaders ask, why does this control exist at all? And what risk does it truly govern? SCF does not reward operational fluency, it rewards conceptual clarity. And this is where ITIL 5 becomes unavoidable. ITIL 5 makes an implicit demand explicit. Governance is not an overlay, it is a part of how systems are designed. When SCF is treated as a control library without ITIL 5 thinking, it becomes another compliance warehouse. When SCF is read through ITIL 5, controls becomes expressions of decisions. Let's say in brackets, life cycle ownership becomes unavoidable. Accountability can no longer hide behind, in brackets, the process. This is not security management. This is institutional self-awareness. So, what choice does this force on MSP executives? Managed service providers now stand at a crossroads. You can continue to collect frameworks, satisfy audits, demonstrate compliance, and never articulate your risk logic. Or you can accept something harder, that governance requires thinking, that frameworks are tools, not substitutes, that complexity demands leadership, not accumulation. SCF will not save you. ITIL 5 will not save you. They will only do one thing. They will make it impossible to pretend you understand the risk when you don't. So, here is the only question that matters. Are you using frameworks to protect your organization or to protect yourself from having to think? Thank you for listening. This was the ITSM Practice Podcast. I'm Luigi Ferri. Arrivederci.